The Seattle Seahawks have some big decisions ahead of them coming up in the 2024 NFL Draft. Drew and I today, we're going to tell you guys the 4 positions that we think are most important for this team to draft. So I'm going to give you 2 positions that I think are necessary. Drew's going to give you his 2 positions, and
I'm
then you guys can
excited.
tell us down in the comments below, who do you think is smarter, or are we both just big idiots? I know a lot of people think so, but I don't know, guys. All right, let's get this thing underway. For my first position that I really think the Seahawks need to draft this year, I'm going with the edge. Guys, the Seahawks, we haven't had an elite edge rusher since Frank Clark. And last year, we saw some promising stuff out of guys like Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams had a nice little 8-game stretch with us, and we're going to have him back. But I think we really need a second edge to complement him on the outside, someone who can put pressure on the quarterback, somebody who can get those sacks, who can get those tackles, and even when you're not getting sacks, who can just pressure the quarterback, get those QB hits. That's how you get into the head of the opposing offense, and that's how you win football games. We see teams all the time that are getting to us, attacking the quarterback. All these teams that are having a lot of success, look at what the Chiefs are doing with Chris Jones. Look at what the Cowboys with Micah Parsons. I know he's a linebacker, but he's basically just a pass rusher. Guys like Von Miller, when he was in his prime. Guys like Bosa on the 49ers. All the elite teams have an elite pass rusher, and the Seahawks have lacked that for quite some time. I think if we can draft a really solid edge in the upper rounds of this draft, combine him with Leonard Williams, all of a sudden you could have a legitimate quarterback attack that we haven't really seen in a long time here.
Yeah, edge is a super important position. It's a position that affects the game maybe the most outside of quarterback and wide receiver in a single football game. You've seen
Yeah.
guys like Aaron Donald, Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa single-handedly win games for the Chargers, 49ers, and Rams in the past. They can blow up offensive lines. They can, draw 2 guys to them. They can constantly get in the quarterback's head, force them to make bad decisions. And the
Oh, yeah.
Seahawks have not had that in the past few seasons, really since the Legion of Boom. It's been a disaster. They've tried to swing and they've swung and missed for the most part. We have a solid core of guys right now, but we have really lacked to get that star power that really matters. I mean, defensive edge is a star power position. If you don't got one of the best 15 guys in the NFL, the drop off is stark, and it's a big difference in how much they affect the game.
Oh, it seriously is. And I forgot to mention 2 guys in the AFC North, Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, basically carried their teams. I mean,
Yeah,
not entirely, but neither of those teams are having the record and the playoff run. I mean, not really a run, but the Browns did make the playoffs, and they're not doing that without Myles Garrett on the edge.
for sure. Levi, the Seahawks obviously have the 16th overall pick. Who would you take at edge if you had a choice at that 16th pick?
Well,
Realistically, obviously.
we'll see if Sweat's available. I really like him, and I know he's in trouble now for a DUI, so maybe that means he falls to us. That'd be
I bet
my
he
choice if he's there.
I bet he does. And that would be my choice as well. My position, I think, that is of need the most for the Seahawks in the 2024 draft is offensive line. You can kind of put him anywhere, but this is a Seahawks team that has been ridden with injuries on the offensive line for the last few years, and there's just not a lot of talent. Obviously, you went and drafted Charles Cross early, and he's shown promise, and he's definitely shown signs of being that left tackle for the future. Not worried about him. And then on the other side, Abraham Lucas has been arguably the best piece on the O-line the last couple of years. Unfortunately, he was battling some injuries last year, but he should be good. But in the middle there, it's a struggle for sure. You got Oluwatimi from Michigan last year at the center position. You got Anthony Bradford at right guard. You got Stone Forsythe at left guard / Tremaine Ankrum. It's definitely a group that is a lot to be a lot to be desired in that group. It's not necessarily terrible, but it's not great. And Geno Smith, he kind of showed that last year. He's a guy that needs to be protected, and he wasn't getting protected near enough, especially when Abraham Lucas was still not on the draft board. Abraham Lucas not on the draft board. Abraham Lucas was injured. Apologies. It's 1 a.m. here at Syracuse, New York. At 16th position, though, I would probably take Mr.
Now,
Troy
Drew, yeah, I was gonna say the
Washington.
Troy Fautanu from Washington. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, he'd be staying in Seattle, which is would be great for him. He's a super athletic right guard that can, kind of play versatile across the positions. He could play kind of anywhere you want him. He's really, really good. He has good size. He's good quickness. I like him. You watched him at Washington all year long defend Michael Penix. He's 6'4", 317. He has some nice stats at the combine. He's good, and he's going to be a player that I think you draft him and you kind of know what you're going to get. You're going to get an upper mid-tier offensive line for the rest of his career, and I think that's what the Seahawks need.
Yeah, I would say specifically also, I think we could really use a center. We've worked out like 3 veteran centers right now, and we have a couple guys under contract, but none of them really scream NFL starting center caliber players. So I think center is definitely a position we should look to address. There's not really a center towards the top of those draft boards.
Brandon Barton is an interior offensive line. He can play some center.
Okay.
He's projected to go 20 right now. Played left tackle at Pitt, but he's maybe the top center candidate in the draft, and he's going at 20. So we could get him, but Troy is definitely a better overall prospect. I would just take him and worry about center later.
Right. All right. Well, Drew, here's my next position that I think the Seahawks really truthfully need a lot. I'm going with safety, right? Look, you lose Quandre Diggs, you lose Jamal Adams, and obviously neither of them were that great last year, but that's why you're getting rid of them. So now you've got obviously Julian Love is still there, and he was a Pro Bowler last year. He was probably one of the weaker Pro Bowlers. And then Trayshawn something, I believe, is I don't even know the last name of our other safety. That's how bad it's getting for us. So
Trayshawn Jenkins, Julian Love,
Jenkins, right?
Kobe Bryant, and Kevon Wallace.
And Kobe Bryant is a fine 3rd or 4th safety. He's a fine, to play him in the nickel. You can kind of bring him out when guys need rest if someone gets hurt. But you really need another starting safety, I think. So I don't think this is our biggest positional need. I would maybe use your 3rd or 4th round pick on a safety. If you do want to go in the 1st round, supposedly cornerback Cooper DeJean out of Iowa, he can also play some safety. I've seen a lot of NFL analysts who are a lot smarter than me thinking that he's going to wind up becoming a safety. He's currently a cornerback. Obviously, kind of rare to have a white cornerback, so I don't know if that'll play into it, but he was really good at Iowa, and Iowa obviously had an elite defense last year. So if you do want to go that route in the 1st round, you could maybe trade down a few picks and still get him in kind of the mid-20s range and try to convert him. But personally, I would wait till the 3rd or 4th round and then take just whichever safety you like the most, who is still available at that point. I would rather, like you said, either go O-line or go with a pass rusher in my 1st round pick. Or if you're trading down, though, that's a scenario where I could maybe see you taking Cooper DeJean, because I do think that he would fit pretty well inside of Mike McDonald defense.
Yeah, obviously safety is a need, but is there a top need? I don't think so, because I think safety is just a position that you can fill in the later rounds of the draft. And it's a position that I think is one of the, obviously all positions in football are very important, but if I had to pick which is one of the least important positions on the football field, offense and defense combined, safety would probably be up there pretty high.
I think Cam Chancellor would like to have a word with you, Drew.
I think there's a lot of quality safeties in the league. Julian Love was a no one and came onto the team as a Pro Bowler. I mean, that kind of tells you all you need to know, in my opinion. But I agree. I definitely think it's a need. A need that I think is a little bit higher, though. I'm going to get a lot of flack for this in the comments. I think it's quarterback, Levi. And hear me out.
I'm here.
There's definitely a lot of different ways I could have gone. Interior defensive line, linebacker. There's a lot of different.
I would have said linebacker.
Yeah. Some say that's the smart decision. I say no. I say we
Okay.
take the most important position in all of sports, the quarterback position. And right now, we got two quarterbacks on the roster that are both not mid. They're below middle tier. Geno
Oh,
Smith
don't
is
be disrespecting my boy Geno Smith, Drew. What are you
Geno
doing?
Smith is a pumpkin. Geno Smith is not a
Well,
quality.
now you're taking my words and putting them in your mouth.
Exactly. He's a pumpkin. Geno Smith is not a quality starter in the NFL. He's not a quarterback that will be able to win your team a Super Bowl. No way, no how, not in a million years will Geno Smith ever be the starting quarterback for a Super Bowl winning team. So you ask yourself, what's the point of even playing an NFL season if you think you can't win a Super Bowl? I say, let's get a quarterback that can win a Super Bowl. I say we draft Michael Penix or Bo Nix with the 16th overall pick. Is it bold? Yes, but it has the upside to pay off. And there's such, Super Bowl or bust. That's what I say. You're in it to win it. I think Geno Smith is such a 7 to 9 win quarterback. It's insane. I don't play football or I don't watch football, excuse me, to watch a team go win 7, 8, or 9 games. I watch a team to win the Super Bowl. I would rather the Seahawks be bad for a couple of years and Michael Penix then rises on his rookie contract and leads this team into the promised land than watching Geno Smith for another year. It's pitiful. It really is. I think quarterback is the most important position for the Seahawks team to get because it's the most important position in all of sports. And right now, we have a guy that is below middle of tier.
Wow, Drew, that's a hot take. I think a lot of Seahawks fans, including myself, are going to have to disagree with you there. I mean, how do you justify drafting another quarterback when you just traded for Sam Howell?
Sam Howell did not cost you anything.
Well, he cost you a third round pick that you now don't have.
But you got to pick back from
Right. You got a fourth round pick back. Okay, but now you have two quarterbacks in the roster. You already have a backup. So do you need a second backup quarterback? Why do you need
I
a second backup quarterback?
say you draft a quarterback, let Geno Smith, Sam Howell, and ex quarterback all battle it out. Let the winner win, and or let's say you start Geno Smith. The second he plays bad, Sam Howell, you're in. The second Sam Howell plays bad, Bo Nix, you're in. The second Bo Nix plays bad, Spencer Rattler, you're in. Let's draft two quarterbacks for all I care.
Oh my
The more
gosh.
the more chips, okay, when you play roulette, do you just put one chip on one number? No, you put them on black or you put them on a bunch of different numbers. You got to play your
Right.
odds at some point. You don't just say all in on green and let the roulette table spin and then go all out. I say we spread our chips out. We draft a quarterback this year. If it doesn't work, we draft a quarterback the year after. If it doesn't work, we put some more chips on the
Drew,
2027 quarterback.
Drew, wouldn't you rather go 10-7 and lose the wild card round every year than have a 4-12 season? I mean, come on, dude. I don't. Are you even being serious right now?
The Seahawks have the most wins since 2013 of any team. Yeah. Okay, obviously I like winning. I like being in contention. Don't get that wrong.
Because I think Geno
But
Smith could win a Super Bowl with the right talent surrounding him. If Nick
no,
Foles could do it,
no,
if
no.
Nick Foles could do it, why couldn't Geno?
Nick Foles is 1 in a million.
Well, can Geno be 2 in a million?
Nope. I think Geno Smith will never, ever, ever have a chance to win
What
a
a
Super
hater.
Bowl.
What a hater.
With his contract and with the current talent on the Seattle Seahawks team, Geno Smith is never winning. If he stays for the next 5 years, he's not sniffing the Super Bowl, even if he's on the Chiefs. It's just not happening.
Well, now, Drew, have you seen the comparisons between Sam Howell's first 18 games and Josh Allen's first 18 games?
Pretty similar.
Howell is actually significantly better in his first 18 than Josh Allen. And Josh Allen, you see what he's turned into. Why can't Sam Howell be the next Josh Allen and lead the Seahawks to a Super Bowl?
Drafting a quarterback doesn't just eliminate Sam Howell from the roster.
Okay, but if you already think you have the future in Sam Howell, why do you waste another draft pick on a quarterback?
Well,
Especially one as bad as Bo Nix and Michael Penix. I mean, those guys
answer
are
your question, Levi. To answer your questions, because I don't think Sam Howell's the future. So that's
okay,
that's
but
my
you
answer
don't know that.
question.
You don't know that. He could be. He could be the future.
Your question was, why would you draft a quarterback if you think Sam Howell's the future? My
Okay,
answer is
well,
I don't think Sam Howell is
the
the future.
team, the team might think he's the future.
Yeah, well, this is my draft, and I said
Okay.
Sam Howell is not the future.
Well, that's again, I feel like you're just a hater, Drew. I don't know.
How do you know the team thinks Sam Howell is the future? How do you know this
Well,
team just
according
doesn't
to Mike
like him as
McDonald,
a
he
backup
thinks
quarterback?
Mike McDonald says in an interview that Howell could potentially become an NFL starter in his future.
Oh, wow. Well, so could I. So great. I mean, he said Geno Smith is going to be the starter like potentially Sam Howell could play a start at some point. Like, give me a break. Like, come on now. Dwayne Eskridge might turn to our best receiver this year. It's not happening though. I mean, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Put the.
Wow. Again, hating on his own team. Wow. The
I'm
DS
not.
is crazy.
I think that I'm giving our team enough credit where I
Right.
think that a couple of years, if we draft a good quarterback, that we can win a Super Bowl.
All right. Now, one more wild card position, Drew. In my latest mock draft, I mocked the Seahawks drafting the Alabama kicker Will Reichard in the 7th round, and I got some comments telling me that we didn't need to draft a kicker, that I wasted a pick. My logic is there is it's a 7th round. Why not take a flyer on another kicker? Because last year Jason Meyer potentially lost us 2 games by missing kicks against the Bengals and the Rams. So what do you say to that? Do you think a kicker might not be the worst idea in the world to draft?
I'm going to answer your question with a question. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What round was Brock Purdy drafted in?
Well, he was drafted in the 7th round.
Hmm.
Mr. Irrelevant, you might say.
Where did what did if I don't if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Brock Purdy was in MVP contention. He made a Super Bowl, had a great season. Now I'm not going to say
Right.
it's a waste of a pick to draft a kicker. A kicker is an important position, and yeah, there's definitely some missed kicks on the leg of Jason Myers last year, but a 7th round pick is a flyer on a guy you really like, and I think that you could definitely get a capable kicker as an undrafted free agent or on the free agent market. So if you really like a guy in the 7th round and you think that Spencer Rattler has some insane upside, take him. If you don't think that and you don't fall in love with any of those guys, get one of the best kickers, if not the best kicker in the draft, and potentially replace Jason Myers this upcoming year.
All right. Well, Drew, I think we're going to call that on this video. So, guys, down below in the comments, let us know who you agree with, who you disagree with. What do you think of the 4 most important positions? I'm guessing you're probably going to agree with at least a couple of ours. And yeah, make sure if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 650. That's the next goal. We're at about 603 right now. So help us get to that next goal. If you also like the Mariners, make sure you check out those post games. We're doing
Every
videos
day.
every single day, guys. Mariners, Seahawks content. You don't want to miss it. This is the NW Sportscast. And as always, guys, go
Go
Seahawks.
Seahawks.